Well, stress doesn't just mess up your day. It can also mess up your body in a very real, very physical way, but you don't have to just put up with it. This morning, we're happy to meet with Dr. Christopher Davis, an interventional cardiologist and the Chief Executive Officer and founder of the Manatee Cardiovascular Wellness Institute. Good morning. I'm so happy to talk to you, Dr. Davis. Speaking about this, it strikes home for me. My grandfather died a few years ago, and I started having heart palpitations. Didn't really put it together that it was caused by the stress of losing him, and it was a traumatic way anyway. So I didn't realize that there was this connection between stress and actual physical things going on with your body. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, so absolutely. But thanks for having me first and foremost. I think that all of us, when we think about stress, we think about that emotional component of stress. When the fact is that those emotions have direct biochemical effects on our bodies from the perspective of what goes on in our adrenal gland or stress hormones. So when we feel emotionally stressed, a lot of times our adrenal gland is producing more of these stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline or noradrenaline. And those hormones actually have some beneficial effects, but when those are persistently elevated, they can cause some detrimental effects as well. More inflammation in your body, more oxidative stress. So all kinds of symptoms from neurocognitive, brain fog type issues to heart disease and diabetes and autoimmune conditions are all driven by these stressors as well. So it's really important for us to learn how to deal with those stressors.
Okay, so how do we manage them? I mean, I know in my particular case, for me, it was just a matter of time of being able to, process his loss and learn how to kind of take some time out to lie down and just take a few minutes off. But what are some other good ways that maybe folks can learn how to deal with it?
I'm having a little bit of difficulty hearing you volume-wise, so maybe if we could speak up a little bit. But I think the question was, what are some of the other things we can do besides, how do we deal with these stressors? So first and foremost, I think we need to really be more proactive about our health in general. What does that mean? I mean, starting with nutrition, what we're putting in our body, that has a lot to do with our overall energy levels and how we can deal with those stressors. So nutrition, eating whole foods, eating real food, getting plenty of sleep. I think one of the things, even in dealing with these stressors and oxidative stress levels, one of the things we neglect quite commonly is getting the appropriate amounts of deep and REM sleep, where that is where our body heals itself. That's where we recover. That's where we rejuvenate. And if we're not getting the appropriate amount of sleep, your body will never be able to regenerate. And so we really need to be focusing on that. Also, avoiding toxins in our environment. These are things that are also not only are contributing to these are contributing to those stressors because these are chemical stressors that are on top of the emotional stressors that we're all facing today already. We now have all of these other environmental things that we're dealing with. So really learning to avoid chemicals such as plastics in our environment, or insecticides, other pesticides that are there. Those are really important for us to kind of deal with. And then making sure our hormones are balanced are another way to make sure we can deal with these stressors. When our hormones are imbalanced, then we have a much lower chance of dealing with these stressors appropriately when our estrogen and progesterone are unbalanced, or our testosterone is low in a male. So dealing with these stressors are more difficult when we have hormone imbalance. So those are just a few of the things we can do, but starting with lifestyle choices is where we would start with dealing with those stressors. Okay, well, these are all some great things that we can all do to try to keep ourselves healthier. Thank you so much for the information. I appreciate it. We're going to tell folks how they can find out more. All right. Once again, why stress is so dangerous to your body and your mind with Dr. Christopher Davis. If you'd like more information, visit revealvitality.com. Also on Facebook, on Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube.
And the following segment is sponsored by